Our third opponent is Whatifred, playing here as Whatif Yellow with a Enyah deck, which is a Highlander deck that can do pretty much anything that one can imagine. Let's see if we can outrace him. It will be difficult because I've seen his list and it's pretty control heavy. Well, we have Irial and 2 evicts, that's not perfect, but let's see if our tokens can help us. Infested Abomination is probably going to be able to block Irial, so... this is going to be fun. Well, we at least guarantee 2 tokens from Irial by the virtue of playing her with charge. And we drew Cornicen and a Forerunner of Champions, which will work pretty well with Tempus to try and put out some tempo! Puns! With 3 mana we can play out our Forerunner, our Tempus, and our Cornicen. I think that he runs Death Ray, but well, I can't live in fear of that card. Let's put 1 token as a champ blocker, and let's see what he brings to control our Tempus. This time around we remember about the attack order to maximize the damage. Who could have guessed? Here we have the Death Ray. Oh, but he used his Death Ray on Irial, which is definitely not a bad choice. This is going to be somewhat of a slow tempo play, but against Infested Abomination Eviction, no. I can't afford to play that slow. We will just keep champ blocking and putting out pressure. At 4 I don't see any mass removal, and with Death Ray gone, with the Exile Purity on the board, we are not looking at Annihilation. I don't think there are many cards in this list that could threaten us. Honestly, I probably should be playing and looking at the opponent's list, but I am not that much of a competitive person, and let's see if we can outguess our opponent. Interesting. Tutoring for something, for an ability card, so we are probably looking at potential removal against our Tempus. There is a possibility of overcharged Storm here at 5. Honestly, I don't like any of the plays I do have in hand. Let's see if we can draw into something. Yeah, we can give Luke a charge. We will move our Tempus out from the battlefield just to dodge any potential removal, and we can see what we draw on the next turn. It could be Luca with Forerunner, or maybe it could be Aberion. We will see what plays right now. It is Overcharged Storm. But we have kept our biggest damage threat. And we will play Aberion here instead and bring another Ascended Champion back to keep Luca with a possibility of being charged. There is always mass death, but given that he tutored for Overcharged Storm, I think we are free from threat of removal until turn 8, when we are looking at the Martyr of Death, which would be perfect target to evict. Well, I was wrong about the mass death, but thankfully Aberion does not care about mass death. And we can play Kali Ascended into support and drop Luca on the board. Oh, that was nasty. Definitely nasty. Let's see if we can get evict on the champion, on the Martyr. And let's drop a Champion's Herald just for a good measure. That evict felt good. I know it is not nice to gloat, but that felt pretty good. Well, let's keep some of our characters in backline and see if Kali and Kali Ascended can end it. Well, actually, since we are ending with 5 mana, we can just as well play draw. Any single target removal can only hit Kali Ascended because Kali the Flaming Blade showed up from our hand, and most of the mass removals are not available yet. And we have managed to snuck in a victory against Whatifred, which is no mean feat. And here we are in our second game against Whatifred, and we have added 3 counter spells from our sideboard, because those are against control. And he is running Calamity, which is a perfect card to ruin us. We actually drew a pretty control-heavy starting hand, but with the value from Irial, hopefully we may get something good enough here. Heavy mulligan from Whatifred, which always looks good for us. We like enemy who needs to mulligan heavily. Third round is probably just looking at the Champion Heralds and Tempus, but it is Temple, and we are getting our guaranteed value from Irial thanks to the Champion's Herald giving her charge. And she does trade against the Abomination. It puts a clock, but with only 1 copy available, it is not a terribly fast clock. We can... Alright, those are just the angel tokens. We can go for slightly aggressive attempt and possibly play Luca Ascended next turn, or Believer of Paragons to try and give Irial indestructible for the combat turns. We are also looking at Death Ray possibility, but the question is he still valuing Irial over Tempus for Death Ray, and did he draw it? Oh, moving her was pointless. Well, that was a strong removal turn. But, well, we can get another guaranteed Irial. I suppose that we could do it as a turn 5 play double Irial and Luca, because at total 7 discounted by 2 it will be 5, and we will just put down Believer of Paragons this turn to guarantee that Irial survives potential combat damage. This is actually not a terrible play. And we see Whatifred Yellow searching for answers. Overcharging the bolt definitely depleted his fuel. So it is turn 5. We are playing against the possibility of an overcharged storm. This is a very risky play that might ruin us, or it might put a lot of damage out. There is probably a more conservative line somewhere in there, but YOLO. This is a tense moment. We know he runs Overcharged Storm, and he has enough cards in hand to play it for 8 damage. But even so, we would be left with a 4/4 flying token and ability to play Aberion on the board next turn, forcing some more creative removals like we've seen last game. And it definitely puts him in a difficult position. With the amount of mulligan and searching, and the fact that his turn is closing to the rope, I am feeling slightly hopeful. Okay. It is removal on Paragon and one of the tokens, but we do get a solid value from our Luca and Irial. And we are catching up in the damage department. We will hold back. Actually, we won't be holding anything back. Yes. Let's play a semi-conservative line. Aberion does survive both Overcharged Storm and Mass Death if he happens to drew them. And we are looking at rather desperate attempts at removal. Keeping back something is definitely positive, and we do have counterspell for potential more difficult kinds of removal. Let's see. We lose Irial, but this still leaves us with a decent situation on the board. And once again, we have 2 evicts to tap Matter of Death. I'm expecting that he would play around them, but we can try to keep Matter in check by playing one and then playing second one next turn. Even if they miss, holding him back to dodge the evict might give us enough time to put the pressure necessary. Well, he's certainly buying time, but also he is pretty low on cards. There is a non-zero chance that we might be able to get this one done. Honestly, at this point, I feel like going all out with our tokens is the way to go. We need to be fast about it. We only have so much time before Matter might dodge the evicts. Nope. Well, blow my legs off and call me shorty. I managed to win 2-0 against one of the better players in the community. I consider this a personal achievement.